Hey Fee! Hey Tracy! What should we do today? Let's watch this hit TV show with girls like you and me. It's it we really like, and best of all, it's free! Square Eyes are watching Geek Girl TV! Square Eyes are watching Geek Girl TV! Amstrad, Spectrum, you have to young, Winery, Apple, Mac, PC, Geek Girl TV! Television for the computer savvy.
Hello and welcome back to Geek Girl TV. As usual, I'm your Geek Girl host, the girl who can say some really big numbers. My theme song was created by The Days, which you can check out at myspace.com/TheDaysGirls. And lastly, this is episode number 45. Did you know that 45 is the name of a type of record, like vinyl record? And it's named after the number of times per minute the record spins on the turntable. There also seems to be about a dozen or so songs and books, etc., with derivatory titles. 45 is the country code for Denmark. And according to YouTube users Mushk and Zebak, the sine and cosine of 45 degrees are the same. And 45 degrees is the angle that maximizes the horizontal distance of a projectile if fired from ground level. And speaking of angles, think how many you could calculate with the HP 45 calculator. According to hpmuseum.org, the HP 45 was HP's first scientific calculator to have a shift key. This was such a novel feature at the time that HP credited the key with nearly doubling the computational power of the calculator. The HP 45 also added the ability to do trig functions in radians or grads, polar to rectangular conversions, decimal degrees, to and from degrees, minutes, seconds, basic statistic percentages, percentage changes, etc. It was also the first pocket calculator to have 9 storage registers in addition to the 4-level stack. Let your imagination picture the calculating horsepower of this feature to register arithmetic, conversions, continued products, payrolls, according to their advertisement in the 73 Scientific American. The HP also added the 10 to the power of x and replaced x to the power of y with y to the power of x. It also added the now ubiquitous last x key and the x to the power of 2 key. Another feature added on the HP 45 was the formatted display. It added both fixed and scientific displays with a choice of the number of digits displayed. The HP 35 only had what is now commonly called standard mode. In fixed mode, the HP 45 would display sufficiently small numbers as 0. Starting with the 20 series, HP automatically switched to scientific display when this would happen. Quotes from the introduction of the HP 45's manual. Little is understood by methods used by calculating prodigies to perform their awesome feats. The method used by 10-year-old Truman Henry Safford in 1846 to calculate 365 quadrillion, 365 trillion, 365 billion, 365 million, 365,000, and 365 to the power of 2, as described by Reverend H.W. Adams, shows that difficult problems are difficult even for prodigies. He flew around the room like a top, pulled his pantaloons over the tops of his boots, bit his hands and rolled his eyes in their sockets, sometimes smiling and talking, and then seeming to be in agony, until, in not more than a minute, said he, 133 decillion, 491 million, 850 octillion, 208 septillion, 566 sextillion, 925 quintillion, 16 quadrillion, 658 trillion, 299 billion, 941 million, 583,225. Next, I just want to thank everyone who invited me to be their friend on Facebook. And I wanted to let you know that Jen of JenReviewsMovies.com has made her first video review. So you should check it out at JenReviewsMovies.blogspot.com and give her encouragement. I also hear that Jessica Biel has been chosen to play Wonder Woman in the upcoming movie. Now, usually I object when Hollywood tries to screw with the traditional costume designs of heroes. But in Wonder Woman's case, I think I'll make an exception. I think it's time for Wonder Woman to get a new look. So I am going to try to put pen to paper and come up with some concept art on a new Wonder Woman look. But you know, it's hard to reimagine an icon that is so embedded in our social consciousness. So if you have any ideas, please let me know. As for Jessica Biel, I think she'll do a pretty good job. You know, they asked me first, but I'm still keeping my schedule wide open for the role of Sailor Moon. So Gina Davis, Bizarro Sailor Moon. So this was a really big week for television, and I don't even have time to really scratch the surface of how many tasty treats there are for the geeks. But there's the Bionic Woman, which features girl-on-girl bionic smackdowns. There's the return of Heroes. And if you're interested in listening to Clever Media's Heroes Cast, you can check that out at heroescast.blogspot.com. Chuck premiered early this week. Chuck is a sweet, sensitive, funny nerd who works at a Best Buy spoof and who accidentally gets the secrets of the government imprinted on his brain. And lastly, I'll mention the brand new show, The Big Bang Theory, which features two incredibly stereotypical geeks, one of which falls in love with the girl next door. And finally, you may be curious to know what I decided to do about my hair. Well, according to viewers, they'd like me to leave it exactly the way it is. In fact, it was about 10 to 1 against a change. I'm still going to donate about a foot to the bald kids, but you probably won't even notice that on camera. The rest of it will remain unstyled for the sake of future donations. I want to thank everyone who gave me input. It's nice to know that you care. And remember, you can always send questions and comments to geekgirl@clevermedia.com, as well as your superhero applications and your geeky facts about the number 46. So I'm going to wrap it up here because I have a lot to do. This is another travel weekend for me. I'm going to the Podcast and New Media Expo, and I look forward to meeting any of you who happen to be in attendance. Otherwise, I'll see you next week. Yatta! So, have you got your Geek Girl swag yet? If not, head over to stickergiant.com and pick up a shirt or two. Then, go ahead and take a picture of yourself wearing the shirt to prove your super fandom.